gonna be you.
Welcome back to Giggles and Gains. Apparently this is take 3. And I'm not going to the whole way through the episode. But I have got one of my friends with me. We met how many years ago?
Oh, 4?
4?
Yeah.
4 years ago at a powerlifting comp. We were both actually coached by the same person and we were in the same community. And we were lifting at the same competition together, weren't we?
We were.
And we have stayed in contact since. And this is Kate, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Thank you for having me. I'm a online coach, PT, have been for about 10 years now. And background is psychology. I've worked in the city. I got into PTing after sort of finding the gym myself, having not been a particularly sporty person growing up other than riding horses. So I kind of got into it then, and after that I thought, I actually quite like this. I'd quite like to teach other people how to like this, especially when you don't come from a background of being sporty, which I think a lot of PTs do.
You were still riding when you were just finishing off riding last time we met, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because I can't, I had horses all the way through till, I think it was like 18.
Yeah.
And then I worked on a livery yard for a year. And that was the end of that. That literally was the end of that.
Yeah, I worked with horses in my 20s. Worked for an international dressage rider as one of their riders.
That's literally the same as me.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did that in my 20s as a gap year.
Gap year?
Yeah. When I just decided that I'm not really liking this whole working for a living life, I'm going to take a gap year.
And
so
then
I did that.
you literally mucked out horses. Was it relentless?
I didn't really do a lot of the mucking out. I did a lot of the riding.
Oh my God, I was the skivvy. So I literally mucked out 27 horses every day. And I remember my first ever day, and I got to the yard and I did my first shift and I went home and I had to then ride my own in my lunch. And then I went back again, skipped them all out, fed them, finished my first shift. And my mum, I was having a bath and it was about 7 o'clock in the evening. My mum said to me, Kate, would you like some dinner? And I was like, no, I'm just going to go to bed. And that was the moment that I was like, this is the first real day's work You've ever done my whole life.
I think we only mucked out like 8 or 10 horses each.
Oh, you obviously
much
more
first thing in the morning. And then it was tacking up for the riders, the pro riders in the morning, and then riding all afternoon or lunging all afternoon.
I didn't get to ride.
Right into the evening. The thing that I remember most about being a groom, though, was sleeping fully dressed, because it was so cold, and you might as well save the time getting dressed in the morning. Just go to bed dressed.
Oh my God! So I didn't have to. Where were you sleeping?
It was the accommodation on the yard, but
I still lived at home.
But they were too tight to put the heating on.
That's like here, right?
Yeah, basically. I'm not cold. I don't know about you.
I literally messaged David and I was like, what's the situation like? So when we do content days, I'm like, I have the aircon on, 26 degrees, full blast. He's sat there sweltering and I'm just like in my sports bra, like totally comfortable.
So yeah, that would be me. But we'll get onto that because there's a reason that I'm like that.
So one of the reasons that I invited Kate on today was to actually talk through some of her health stuff that she's been going through over the last, well, it's been longer than 12 months, but she's done an absolute massive transformation over the last 12 months. And I wanted to pick into a little bit around that today. Yep. So it's really funny because I thought that Kate had PCOS, so polycystic ovaries, and you thought you could have had that as well.
Yeah.
Tell me more about it.
So
tell me the story.
So for as long as I can remember, weight loss has not been my friend. I remember being like 21 and I did lighter life, like that 500 calorie a day, no food diet. And I still only lost like a pound a week. I was basically starving myself and the weight was just not really coming off. And I've done diet after diet after diet and weight just doesn't really come off me. So every pound, like especially for powerlifting, I'd have to do some pretty harsh cuts to make weight for powerlifting. I was just sweating it out in saunas, all the stuff that I would never let a client do, but I was doing it. So all growing up, all through my 20s, struggled with my weight and could basically let it leave. And I know people say that and they actually go out weekends and binge and stuff, but that wasn't really me. I was quite healthy and yet I was still really struggling. And you talk to anyone and they go, oh, I've got polycystic ovaries. And I was like, well, maybe. But I don't know how much you know, but there's sort of three, if you go to the doctors, there's three big symptoms. And that's irregular periods, heavy periods, and nope, third one's just...
Painful periods.
Is it painful periods? Is that the one?
There is, yeah.
There's another one as well.
Yeah, it is. There is obviously that then links in, but it's not just like those are the three key ones, and then there's all of the other stuff that goes on behind closed doors.
So I'm not a huge fan of the NHS because if you go to them and you don't have those three, they'll just nope, you're fine. And I got told it's being a woman. That was one I was fobbed off with. It's called being a woman because I used to have really painful periods. So like most people that go to the doctors and get told that, you just get given the pill.
You get given the pill. Let's mask the problem.
Let's mask the problem.
Having a pill or put it on an implant, and that will regulate it.
It'll be fine. So, and for years, I just kind of let that go, and it was fine, and it was what it was. But
when you're given professional advice, you actually have to have an element of trust in the professionals because they're the doctors. You've gone to a professional to a doctor to get help, and they've said, this is what we believe it is, this is the solution to your problem, so that's what you're going to do. So you're going to trust that opinion because they are the professionals.
Yeah, so, and that was the thing. So they were saying, well, it can't be polycystic ovaries because your periods are regular. And I was like, but what about anything else?
Yeah.
And then as I became coach, I knew something wasn't right. And so I would say for the last sort of, even before as a coach, last 15, 20 years, I knew something was not right. I knew it. And I'd sort of gone to multiple doctors. I'd gone to Harley Street and had blood work done. I've had blood work done so many times. But my TSH and stuff has always been completely normal. So your thyroid secreting hormone, which is what is measured when you do a blood test for polycystic ovaries. So we knew it wasn't that, or we assumed it wasn't that, but it was never clear what it was. And I had other symptoms. So one of which is I'm always cold. Like I'm freezing. In fact, I will probably put my coat on in a minute because I'm always cold. And I have a ridiculously low heartbeat. So my heartbeat can go as low as 34 beats a minute.
Wow.
Which is really low. Like that's well past athlete level. And everyone kind of went, it's just who you are. And I'm like, it's not, there's too many little signs. It's not normal. So at the start of this year, I'd been following someone on social media, Olivia Brownson. She's an absolute sweetheart. She's a gem. And she'd had this big transformation. And I reached out to her and just to talk to her about her transformation because it sounded similar. And she'd been diagnosed with PCOS, but it hadn't come through the doctors. It had come through a private doctor and who looked a little bit deeper. So I started working with her and got my blood work done again. And we sent it off to the same doctor that diagnosed her. And he came back and said, you've got Hashimoto's disease. And I'd never even heard of it.
No, I hadn't heard of it until you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's quite an unusual.
And I wouldn't have even remembered the name.
No.
Like,
because why would you?
Yeah, exactly.
And essentially, it's an autoimmune condition, which makes sense because I don't know how much you know, but autoimmune conditions tend to come in twos or threes. So if you have one, you have others.
Okay.
So I have asthma, I have psoriasis. So it makes sense. So I have, so Hashimoto's is autoimmune condition. So your body essentially is attacking the thyroid.
Okay.
So your thyroid works, but then your body attacks it. And so you can't get any of the benefit of the thyroid around the body.
So why would have that not come up when you were having your blood test done at the doctor's?
Because there's not just one marker for it. It's the relationship between other markers.
Yeah.
So it's your eosinophils, your basophils, as well as your other ones. So all my other thyroid ones are pretty much within range. Okay. They might be slightly high, they might be slightly low, but they're within range. Which is a whole nother argument that I absolutely hate because what is the range? Okay. The range is normal. But what's normal? So you need someone who's willing to look at it and go, that's not normal for you.
Not even that, but somebody who's actually educated or understands and seen these other conditions before.
Yeah. So this was Dr. Dean. Dean St. Mark. He is part of Supplement Needs. And he's an absolute genius. And he took one look and he was like, yeah, you've got Hashimoto's. It's really obvious.
So what does that mean for you then?
So when Liv told me, I cried quite a lot. I am a crier anyway, but Liv told me and I cried.
I finally have an answer.
I have finally had an answer. Like, imagine being like 20 years being told essentially it's in your head, just try harder. Oh my God, the amount of coaches that said to me to try harder. The amount of coaches that just put me on less calories, just try harder. Or just assumed I was lying. Like I was doing hours of cardio and nothing would happen because my stress hormone would go so high, my body was just not going to release. So it meant some diet changes. So you've got to take the inflammation down in the body, and Hashimoto's can be characterised with leaky gut syndrome.
Let's talk about inflammation first and how you've done that, because that is something that I'm literally like going on about all of the time at the moment with my clients.
So it...
Just be careful tapping the mic.
Sorry.
Possible to sort of hear it like in the background.
Sorry.
She's like, I'm so scared.
I'm just cold. Hang
Put your
on.
coat on.
I'm going to bring this over here.
Do you blanket?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a
You won't
blanket.
like waist up anyway, so like. If
There we go. That will help.
You could put it all the way over you. Literally on the video, you're literally up to here.
It's fine. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'll try to get your blanket if you want.
No, it's all right.
An
This
eel
coat is so thick.
So yeah, we've been talking about inflammation with clients.
Yes. So it kind of is coincides with the gut. You need to take the inflammation from the gut. So for me, that meant cutting gluten out of my diet.
Okay.
Some people it means dairy as well, but for me, gluten has been enough. So I cut gluten out. We're very careful with my stress levels, because obviously that increases your inflammation within the body. So my cortisol levels can go very high. So we're very careful not to overdo training and to make sure that my recovery is good. We take diet breaks when needed, so we're not always pushing my body. We do carb cycling, so we have rest days which are very low carb. We did implement HIIT workouts to start with, which worked out really well. But then more towards, once I'd been dieting for a couple of months, we took them out just because the stress on my body was too high and it was causing more inflammation. As soon as the inflammation goes up, my weight loss just stops. My body just refuses to do anything.
And this is like such a huge point for women who not just have a condition, but actually women who are stressed.
Yes.
Like that is a whole nother world of conversation.
Yeah.
So I'll give, like, you'll have examples, I've got examples, like ladies who are like teachers.
Yep.
Teachers are a nightmare to coach.
Yep.
Because the first thing that you have to kind of regulate and control with a teacher is their stress levels.
Yep.
Because they are so stressed all of the time. There's not enough hours in the day. The kids are there. They've got to do their paperwork. They then have to go home and work. They don't have enough time. And then they all of a sudden go on a school holiday and they get weight loss.
Yeah.
Because they're finally relaxed for that one period of time.
It's the same as emergency service workers.
Literally.
They don't lose, and then they'll have their 4 days off and they see a drop, and then they don't lose and then they see a drop. And you have to try and stop them going mad on those 4 days off, because that's where you get the most progress from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like it's something that I actually spoke to my guys about recently, in terms of like stress management, because I spoke about it on the personal episode that I've done. It's going to be done tomorrow, but I'm going to talk about it because since setting the business up and moving the business online, and it's become a lot more of a beast.
Yeah.
Not even gonna lie, it has been. Like before it was just Kate, she was PT in the bottom of her garden, the clients come in, etc. I've now got a team and I've got a lot more clients, and I want to keep those clients happy, and I want to give them the same level of service, and I also want to make sure my team are happy. And
It's a bit more never ending, isn't it?
yeah, it is a bit more never ending, and that was at the detriment of me. Like I think I cope. I do. Fact, I do cope really, really well with it. Like actually, I do a lot. It doesn't overwhelm me, but all of a sudden, I'll then get this massive, overbearing heartburn.
Yeah.
And it cripples me. I don't sleep. It's that uncomfortable. And like over the last 6 months, something has had to change, because I can't have that as a long-term problem. That's an unhealthy thing. That is not healthy.
It was Liv that said it to me. Liv was like, you don't complain. You just get on with it. If I said to you,
Literally.
because I was on, so I do quite a bit of cardio, and Liv was like, I could give you an hour of cardio every day, plus training on fuck all calories, and you'll just do it. You don't complain. She said, so when you tell me you're tired, you're well past tired. You are done. She said, so we've had to kind of, this is where like working with a coach, this isn't sort of to push coaching, because if you're listening, you already know the value of it probably, but working with a coach, they can see things that you can't see in yourself.
Literally.
So I am a pretty experienced coach. I've worked with hundreds of men and women, but I needed someone to sort of point that out to me, which is that I just go robotic. I tick the boxes until
Yeah.
someone says to me, stop.
Hello, have a
Rest.
little sit down. Do you want to watch an episode of Netflix?
Yeah, exactly. And like last year, bought a house and all of those things. And life just got
It's continuous
full on.
micro stress.
Yeah.
Like always build up, build up, build up, build up, build
Yep.
up. And then your body goes, I can't actually do this anymore. I'm way too stressed.
Yeah.
And it's there are those signals that our body is giving us. And mine is heartburn, which is really inconvenient. Yours is like
Mine's-
lack of results or
Yeah.
fatigue.
Mine, training performance,
Yeah.
weight, my weight goes up. I hold water like crazy and I can't get a pump in the gym at all. So I stopped powerlifting training because powerlifting was too much stress on my body whilst trying to diet as well. So I was like, right, okay, one thing at a time. This isn't fun for a start at the moment because powerlifting, how long are you in the gym for each day?
Okay, so I'm not like a normal powerlifter.
Okay, go on.
I am literally in the gym for an hour and 15.
Fair. Okay.
Because I haven't got time for it.
Yeah.
So like my training has to fit. I need to enjoy my training.
Yep.
And it has to fit around my life. I cannot be in the gym for 2-3 hours. I do a full SBD session with John on a Friday in kit in under 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Because it can't.
So mine was taking at least like 90 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week, plus travel time to and from the gym, plus PT and 40 clients, 40 hours a week, plus online work. And I was like, something's got to give. And that was the easiest thing to give.
You
Yeah.
don't need it. I train like three days a week now. Like I said, an hour and 15, an hour and 50, an hour and 20. Depends how much procrastinating I'm doing.
No.
Oh my God. So I've actually started meditating on a Monday before I train because Monday is such a busy day with check-ins. So now I'm literally like, hi, I meditate, and I've got a label on my head that says so. And I'm like, you should meditate.
Once you've done it
Everybody
once,
meditate.
once you've done it once, you become the biggest fan.
Literally, I'm like the biggest fan. I'm like Kate time, 10 minutes in the morning at 6 a.m. I feel so good. And anyway, the Monday meditation, I was like, I'm always so busy. The brain's always so busy.
Yeah.
And that Monday, like, it's only a minute. I literally do a minute, maybe 2 minutes of breath work just before I train. But that box is off. Right, Kate, you've finished with your check-ins. That's that part of the day done now.
Yeah.
Now you can focus on your training, because otherwise Monday's session does become an hour and a half, but that's only because I'm still replying to client check-ins, like replies that come in.
Yeah.
I'm procrastinating. But that literal Kate time, meditation time, is that reset that prepares me for the next task and filters my
Exactly.
brain and aligns it to what I need to be doing.
It's why I don't train where I work. So where I still do PT face to face, I don't train there.
Really?
I go to a different gym to
'Cause
train.
that's like work.
That's training, Kate. That's work, Kate.
See, I need an office, but I like my kitchen because it's so bright.
Yeah, fair. And I do struggle with that a little bit with check-ins and stuff. I have to set a time to do them. So like we were saying when I got here, like if clients check in late, that's hard because that's not in their dedicated time that I sit and I do my check-ins. Answering them, that's fine because I don't mind doing that on the go a bit more. But actually, I've got stricter with setting boundaries of times.
Oh, I'm so strict.
So gym, yeah, I bet you are. You're going to be worse than I am. But yeah, so gym is that gym. Work is that work. And, it's all very segmented and it helps.
I think I sent quite a funny voice note, and if the person listens, they'll laugh. But she's super, super busy, owns a really successful business, and she tells me how busy she is all of the time. And I'm like, and she's always late. And I was like, you can't be late for your check-ins. Do you remember how busy you are? I'm just as busy as you are, and this is the time that I have to reply to them. And I want to give you the lovely video on a Monday.
Yeah.
And if you check in late, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Because again, like it's like that next day, that next task. But you have to put boundaries in with yourself, because all those boundaries you put in for yourself, and you know this from psychology.
Absolutely.
And I literally got grilled for this by my psychologist and my therapist. They protect you. So
Absolutely.
They're protecting your stress levels.
And that's just it. And so when my stress levels go up, my body just doesn't respond. It doesn't matter. I end up dropping my calories lower and lower and lower, and my body just doesn't respond. So yeah, so I'm working on the inflammation within the body, eating quite an anti-inflammatory diet, cutting out gluten from my diet, taking some supplements to just help my body along a bit has been absolute game changer, but controlling stress is a huge part of that.
Yeah. So what have you actually achieved this year? Tell us. I know, because you're half the person you were last time I actually saw you in real life person.
So I've dropped about 15 kilos
Yeah.
in the easiest diet that I've ever done. Like, I'm not saying I haven't worked hard, don't get me wrong. You find me on the Stairmaster all the time.
That Peloton, she's always on the Peloton.
Yeah, I'm always on the Peloton. I could be an advert for Peloton. I absolutely love
You
it.
are the Peloton. Your butt has an imprint mark on it
Absolutely
that says
does.
Peloton.
I moved house and I was like, I need a Peloton again. Yep. I've even converted my other half now. It's great.
He's a Peloton too.
He is. Yeah, he's got his own shoes now.
Clipping. Oh my God. So I rode bike seasonally.
Right.
The amount of times I have literally full on stacked
Have you
it
stacked it?
on my drive. Not even out. Like literally, I've like put the cleats in because I'm a little bit nervous about them still. So because I'm not that much of a professional cyclist, I do the unclip, do the clip, do the unclip, do the clip to practice on one leg, and then I do the other leg. And then I forget, and I'm like,
Well, the last time I rode a road bike was when I lived in Holland, and I did do that. I did stack it because Dutch bikes don't have brakes. You have to
my
pedal
God.
backwards.
That is confusing.
Yeah, no
I
one told
have,
me that, so I went, oh no, there's a car. Oh well, I'll just go into it.
I'm going backwards. I think I have actually fully come off the bike once, and it was at a really busy roundabout in Northampton. I was cycling with some friends, and I was like, I'm fine. I'm laying on the floor. My bike is still attached to my foot, but I'm fine.
It hasn't unclipped yet.
It
Just hasn't unclipped.
And then you're like, my mum was like, be careful on that bike. So don't worry, mum, I'm fine.
It's all good fun. But yeah, so I do
Peloton life.
So I do a lot of cardio. But actually I quite enjoy it. I've always quite enjoyed cardio, so that's not that too bad for me. And yes, I've dropped 15 kilos. I've been much more bodybuilding style training just because it's a little bit easier to not get hung up on the numbers, which as someone who has been competitive in different sports since like riding into powerlifting, it's quite nice just to have a little bit of a break and just train for training.
Literally.
And it's nice to get a pump, and it's nice to sort of get some shoulder definition and stuff like that. The things that you don't really focus on as a powerlifter. It's been quite nice to sort of do that sort of style training. So yeah, so that's where we've got to. And also educated myself massively on PCOS, Hashimoto's, female health generally. And I've become a bit of I like to rant about it with my clients when they go to the NHS or go to a GP about something and they get fobbed off, and I'm like, no,
that is not acceptable.
We're going to get private blood work done, and we're going to get those read, and we are going to dive deeper into things.
Can I ask a personal question? Because obviously if there is people who are listening and they've gone through the NHS and they've not had a lot of help, obviously like nobody really talks about it, like the cost of like private blood work. Can I ask you how much it is?
It costs about £200.
Okay.
So I went through Medichecks.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that. A friend and a couple of clients have used that for the menopause.
Yeah, so you got Medichecks, and also Atlas is a new one. It's a very, very good one. It can be between about £200 and £400 depending on what you're having done.
What are you classing as a good one? What makes a good blood work company?
Comprehensive blood work.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not. I don't know much about other companies, but you want to make sure that you are getting the cortisol, the full thyroid panel, all the vitamins and all that.
I don't think I want to know what my cortisol levels say. I think I'd rather be in denial. They'll be like, oh my God, how have you not had a heart attack?
Yeah, basically. You want to get all of that done. You want your blood sugars. You want to do your blood sugars separately. So you've also got the cost of getting a glucose monitor.
Okay.
It's like 20 quid off Amazon. That's worth doing as well, because the other side of all of this is being insulin resistant. So I don't know how much you know about insulin resistance, but that's a big part of it. And that was, those sorts of things do cost, but it's for your health.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, even if you said, right, okay, I'm going to budget £500 to have the blood work done, get a blood glucose monitor, and get someone to read the results properly.
But at the end of the day, if you're a woman and you have been suffering with some sort of hormonal symptoms for the best part of, let's be honest, we're working with women ranging from, I've just started working with a really young girl, but let's say like 17 all the way up to like 55, 60.
Exactly.
And you've had hormonal problems most of your life. Like I was talking to a client of ours the other day, and she has been really, really suffering with stress, really suffering with motivation. She's 43, and we had a roadmap catch-up call. and she come off her mini pill 2 months ago,
Okay.
and that mini pill was probably masking her menopausal symptoms.
Perimenopausal. Yeah.
And she's now booked in at the doctor's to have a test to see what is going on. And we might be wrong, but actually having that knowledge and having that education, but then having that information to be able to piece the jigsaw together to hopefully then get us some answers to then for us then to be able to support her in the right way.
Absolutely. And also for things like that, it's the signs that the GP just won't connect. Like the fact that perimenopausal affects a lot of women's joints, and they start pulling muscles more, and they start getting these injuries that really, like, they've not done anything to get them. And they're just, I find clients that are going into the gym and then they're like, my wrist hurts. And I'm like, what have you done? And they're like, nothing. It was a leg session. Or my feet hurt.
That's what I feel.
Yeah. And that you're just finding clients starting to say things like that, and the GPs just fob them off or send them to a physio. And you're like, yeah, but look at their age.
Yeah.
Look at, and also menopause is coming younger. Statistically, women are getting into menopause younger, and also we're much more aware of the perimenopause, like the premenopausal symptoms, and that's one of the big ones. By the time it gets to like that stage where the pill's been masking it probably for a good couple of years, you're then full-blown menopause.
Yeah, literally.
At that point, or heading towards it.
Yeah.
And the GPs will be like, it's a woman, you're a woman, deal
or
with it.
You're stressed, or you're struggling with stress, you're emotional, you need antidepressants.
Oh yeah, that's the other fun one.
Okay, so I did actually ask some questions, and one of them was based on menopause. So let's tick that one off while we're here. So menopause and training.
Yeah.
There is so much information out there, and you never know what's right or not.
True.
So if you were to give advice to a client who was around that period in their life, what advice would you give them around nutrition and training?
It's still such an individual difference. It so depends on the person and depends on their experience, how and what symptoms they're facing. One of the things that really irritates me is that menopausal women or people with PCOS are told not to do HIIT workouts, and because it will raise the cortisol level. But you have to also, there's a lot of things that will raise cortisol levels. So you could argue that HIIT isn't good for menopausal women. But also, what's HIIT? Oh, is a spin class HIIT? No, not really. So you get these women that have become frightened to exercise because of all of this misinformation that's out there.
I think I would, if it was my opinion and it was me giving that advice to somebody, I think it would be like high impact. Where I would be leading towards would be like the higher impact stuff. Like, does a late 30s up to 50-something-year-old woman need to be jumping onto a box? No, probably not.
Yeah, because it's the payoff, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
However, if you had a client who really enjoyed step, for argument's sake, because I have a client that absolutely loves step. Beats me as to why.
We don't understand why, but you love.
Exactly. And is that an ideal workout for a menopausal woman? I'd probably go with no. But if it's the workout that she really enjoys and the offset of that is being overweight or less fit, I'd rather she did the step.
But also if she's enjoying it, it's reducing her cortisol
Exactly.
on the other side, so she's feeling more euphoric. What a word. Afterwards. I was struggling to find the first. I wanted to say she was having an endorphin buzz, and then it all came out wrong.
So like I speak to a few people. I used to teach a lot of spin. And obviously, we know I love a Peloton. And you get people that are afraid to do spin because they've been told not to do HIIT workouts because of their age. And they're classing spin as HIIT. And I'm like, well, A, I don't really class spin as HIIT anyway. B, it's incredibly low impact. And C,
it's really low
do
impact.
You enjoy it?
Yeah, literally.
Because the amount of people that walk out of spin and they're like, oh my God, the feel-good hormones right now are just flying. And I'm like, cool, then that's worth more than the offset of it.
Yeah, you are spot on. Like, regardless of what age you are, you need to find a form of exercise you enjoy. Number one, you enjoy it.
Yep.
Number two, it's good for your body.
Yep.
Number three, it aligns with your goals.
Yep.
And I haven't got a number four, so that's that.
But it's accessible, that you can do it. That you can do it. You know, if your hobby of choice is to go and climb mountains, but you don't live near any mountains, then that might be a little bit less easy to do. But
you could just go on holiday and climb mountains.
That's what you do.
Exactly. I live in Northamptonshire. There's not some fantastic mountains there.
No. So there is a lot of misinformation with menopause and training, but I would say weight training for women is always going to be good. So keep lifting weights. Why is it good for women?
I know why, but they might not know why.
I could talk for an hour on that. Why it's
Okay,
good.
let's
So
keep it snappy. You've got an elevator pitch for me. 1 minute for why women who are more mature should be lifting weights.
bone density is going to be a huge one. But my biggest one, because I'm going to go on put my psychologist hat on here, is for the empowerment that it gives you. The ability to be strong later in life. The power you feel from being able to lift things, from not struggling to pick the shopping up, things like that, is worth more than any medical reason in my mind.
And let's talk about all those ladies with grandkids.
Exactly, you want to pick them up.
Gorgeous, gorgeous client, and she's actually a friend of mine, and I've known her since I was 18, and I actually still PT her. And the only reason she comes to see me 2 to 3 times a week is so that she can do roly-polies down the hill with her granddaughter at the, I'm going to get her age wrong, but she's in her 50s. And she literally is a nightmare. She rolls down the hill with a granddaughter because but she also squats 50 kilos, near on bench is 40, and deadlifts 70.
Exactly.
And she's like 5'2".
I have a client that came to me, and she is in her mid to late 60s. She's had basically 2 knee replacements. Her knees are just...
She is bionic.
She's screwed, basically, with her knees. She couldn't walk up and down stairs when she came to me, which is awesome because my gym's upstairs. So, in the building. So, awesome. We got her... She squats now. She goblet squats to a reasonable depth, which is awesome because now she's got 2 grandkids with another on the way. She can pick them up off the floor now. She never could because she was so unstable.
Oh, literally.
She was so unstable. No one would let her walk with her grandchildren because she would trip so often. 2, maybe 3 times she'd come into sessions with her face smashed in because she'd fallen over. So this isn't about, getting super strong and getting muscly and, looking like G.I. Joe or whatever. This is
having a better quality of life.
It's having a better quality of life, yeah. It's being able to do those things that you want to do for as long as you want to be able to do them.
And this is like, I literally harp on about this all of the time. How many times have you heard people say, I can't squat?
Oh, yeah.
I can't squat.
I see it as a personal challenge now.
My knees hurt too much. I can't squat. And I'm like, no, you really can.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to get up and down out of a chair for the rest of your life and sit on the toilet.
Yeah, can you sit on the toilet?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
and you can squat.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's about how you do it. Like, most ladies are placing their hands on their knees to get up and actually not actually using their legs.
Yeah.
And if they can learn to use their legs, build a little bit of muscle up, use their core as they're getting up, they are going to be able to have much more pleasant toilet time and enjoy getting up and down off the sofa for the rest of their life.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. It is just about doing those daily habits and making those things that we do daily easier. Getting out of bed easier. Playing with the grandkids easier. Getting out of the car easier. How many people do you know, and I've had a lot of clients say this to me, that they've changed their car because their last car was a bit low and they struggled getting in and out of it? Or
I literally get in some of my friends' car and wonder how I survive sometimes because I have to roll out of the side of it. And if it's got like the bucket seats, oh my God, you have to climb over that bit as well. I just pivot out of my chair.
Yeah, fair. Privilege, babe, privilege. I have to stand up out of mine.
Brat.
But so my other half is a sports therapist. So between the 2 of us, we're a nightmare. Because if someone said to me, I can't do that because X, the 2 of us are like, really?
Like, how long do we get them to do it?
Well, it's like a personal battle. We're like, bet you can. Come on.
Oh, that's
and because most people can, there's very few things that strength training wouldn't improve.
No, 100%.
So yeah.
100%. Talk to me more about what you've learned, because you said earlier about educating yourself around like the PCOS symptoms. Like, so many women are suffering with PCOS. How would you help somebody who was suffering with it, and what kind of advice would you give them and tips?
So the thing with PCOS, as I mentioned earlier, one of the big coupled things is insulin resistance. So to give a brief overview of what that is as you're eating, your body is not using food for energy. It is using food it's just storing it, which is why people with PCOS struggle to lose weight, because they tend to have low energy, quite a lot of lethargy, that kind of thing. And you get the poor hair, they they get thin hair, brittle nails, bad skin. And they go, oh, it's because I've got PCOS. Well, yes, but a lot of it is because the food that you're eating, you're not getting any nourishment out of it because it's just being stored and not utilised for all of those functions that our body needs. So when you start educating women on that, you can change how they eat. You can make them a bit more aware. And there's things that we can do to help insulin resistance, such as different styles of training, such as different foods, such as carb cycling, things like that. It's very much, there's a lot of different roads to Rome and there's different things that you can do, but being aware of that. So I was waking up in the morning, mine wasn't terrible, but when I was waking up in the morning, my blood sugars would be high, even fasted. Well, that's not normal.
Okay, no.
So if you can start working out why that is and change it, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to a lot of women with PCOS is we start thinking about the bigger picture, the why, and then how we can fix it and what we can do about it. And I am going to be that annoying person because there isn't just one way.
No.
There just isn't. It's a bit like coaching. If you coach, how do you coach a squat? Well, I look at the person and then I decide how I'm going to coach the squat. It's so different. So it is about controlling the diet. It is about balancing what's going in with what's going out. Calorie deficit is always going to rule, but calorie deficit doesn't apply in isolation for people with PCOS. There's a lot more to it. The food quality matters. The sugar amount matters.
But I think that's so, even just talking about PCOS, that's actually so apparent for everything.
Yeah.
Like you've just said, food quality matters, processed food matters, the amount of caffeine you're consuming matters.
We won't go into that, but yes.
That you're consuming matters. What did Liv say about that?
Oh no, I just drink tons of caffeine.
Yeah, I know. But it is true because
Yeah, you do have to manage it.
Like, obviously going through this heartburn, stress journey for myself, as a byproduct of doing that and improving my nutrition and focusing on more foods that are higher in fatty acids, higher in omega-3s, the food quality that has higher anti-inflammatory qualities.
Exactly that.
That has actually meant that my PMT and my hormonal symptoms have improved.
Absolutely.
So over the last 6 months, I would say the last 4 months in particular, I haven't actually had any PMT symptoms at all.
Yeah, because I remember us talking about gut health and stuff. And
literally, I was just starting it.
Yeah. And I don't think we realise, even in ourselves, how bad our guts can be until they're good.
Yeah.
You don't realise that you've got all these symptoms until they're not.
I'm go full TMI right now. Like, I am the type of person, my gut health 6 months ago was I would go to the toilet like every 3 or 4 days if I was lucky.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, and that was pretty normal. And I
That's
would just
not
like
normal.
to celebrate now that I'm going every single day at the same time of
If
the
I could
day.
reach you, I'd give you a high five.
Oh, thank you. We can do a virtual fist bump. That was so cringe. But it's like, I don't care. Like, that isn't normal.
It's
like, not being able to go to the toilet isn't normal.
No.
But I've got clients that I'm working through like gut health stuff with at the minute, and they're like, it's still not fixed. It's still not fixed. And it's like, you do have to give that an opportunity. Like, I'm talking like I've been on this journey for myself. When was the last time we caught up? It was 6 months ago, probably on the phone. And we started going through it and we're chatting through it. And it's taken me 6 months to get to the point where I honestly am regular every single day. And do you know what? The one thing that used to throw my irregularity off was the weekends.
Yes.
Because we all know that
We can
Kate
still count.
likes a drink. I like a couple of glasses of wine. I like to eat out for dinner. Don't get me wrong, like the food choices I make when I go out for dinner aren't actually that unhealthy because I actually like a healthier diet. But I was always finding Monday, Tuesday, I'd be backed up again.
Yeah.
It's not until now, 6 months later, that I am still going to the toilet on a Monday morning.
Yeah.
And that has been 6 months of me focusing on increasing my fibre, increasing anti-inflammatory foods like green leafy vegetables. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not a fan of green leafy vegetables, guys. I actually fucking hate green vegetables. I'm not even lying. So I've had to find a way to get them in because I do not want to eat tender stem broccoli, and I don't want to eat broccoli. It's boring and I hate it. And it's too green. I could never be a vegan. But I've found ways to do it. Like,
So there's two things that coaches say. I'm going to slightly shit on other coaches here.
oh my God, let's go.
There's two things that coaches say that really annoy me. And that's when it comes to gut health, they go, just eat more fibre. And it's like, what? Should I just take a fibre supplement? Shall I? And it's like, no, it's way more than that. You have to look at the bigger picture than that. So if you go to a lot of coaches with bad gut health, they'll just be like, oh, just eat more fibre. And you're like,
Wow.
well, what? Should I eat some all bran or what? There's more to it than that. And the second thing is that, yes, calorie deficit matters, but if you are a female that struggles with hormonal health or gut health, you can be in what you would think would be a calorie deficit, and it won't be until you sort those things out.
Literally.
And
That's
so
massive.
every male PT that says, yeah, but you just need to be in a calorie deficit, I'm going to bash you around the head if you don't look at female health symptoms first, because it's huge and it's missed by so many. So if you're a female dieting on fuck all food and you're still not seeing results, look at the bigger picture.
Gut health, stress, hormones.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's massive, because it is a journey, and it doesn't just happen straight away.
No.
But it is so annoying, because everything does come down to nutrition. Like, if
It does.
you can literally drill down and get more in control of your nutrition, and
unfortunately, it's not always fun.
No, it isn't fun, and you do have to make sacrifices. And this is part of. We actually did our community call last night, and we were speaking about we have like a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
We have habit building, fat loss phase, build, and then transform and sustain.
Yep.
I literally was saying to the guys last night, and I did call a few of them out, no names mentioned, but guys, if you are literally in your fat loss phase and you are cheating, or you're not weighing your food, or you are going out for multiple meals at the weekend, you are going to slow your fat loss phase down.
Yeah.
And I am the queen of balance.
Yes, same.
I love going out for dinner. I love a glass of wine. But sometimes you need to know when to push, and you need to know when to pull. And the more that you are doing the fun things, the longer you are going to be lingering in that fat loss phase. And if you are lingering in your fat loss phase, you are delaying your journey. Like, you need to get in, get out, get to maintenance. Because it's a good time in maintenance.
Well, I was
and
going to say,
build.
it depends on how miserable or
How miserable.
how miserable you are. Like, if you really want change, then accept that change requires a bit of deprivation.
Absolutely.
It requires a bit of sacrifice. No one said it was always going to be fun. If you want ultimate balance, well, I'm sorry, but you don't know what balance is at the moment. Because if you are needing a fat loss phase, your balance has been wrong. Whether that's because of, like we've talked about, your health being wrong, then you need a health phase as well. But if you are going out Friday, Saturday, having a fat roast on a Sunday,
Oh my God, she's speaking to me.
and you are trying to lose weight, well, that's 3 out of your 7 days. So unless your other 4 days are angelic beyond belief, you are just prolonging that phase so much.
But so many of these people aren't actually, let's just say, not all of them are health related problems. Some of them are habit and behaviour
exactly
related problems. And if you can actually fix your habits, fix your behaviours going through your fat loss phase, you will accelerate through your fat loss phase, and
Exactly.
you'll get out the other side. And like, we're talking about calling me out for roast dinners, I can have the luxury, like this weekend, we're going out for food afterwards.
We are indeed.
I'm definitely going to have a glass of wine. And I said to John, I only drink once a week now. This is a lie this weekend. I'm going out for dinner tomorrow night.
Depends where you start the week.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those
One
three,
was last
one of
week.
those 3 days. Going out for dinner tomorrow night with a friend, and then I'm going for a roast dinner. I can have that balance because I am an absolute robot in the week, and I've done the fucking hard graft in the fat loss phase to get to maintenance. And the benefits of training the way I do and building muscle and being stronger means I can eat more bloody food than you in a fat loss phase.
And I can't, because I go on holiday in 2 weeks,
Nah.
and I'm still in a fat loss phase for another couple of weeks.
Yeah, literally.
So this is my meal out, and this will be my only meal out for a few weeks.
But that we've chosen somewhere that
works.
allows balance. Like, we're going for Turkish. Like, you can have chicken, rice,
Exactly.
and a salad.
It's not a sacrifice. It's a
No.
decision.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge mindset shift as well, is stop thinking about things as being hard work. It's just a choice that you get to make. It's a privilege that we get to make, to go, actually, I want to change my body. Well, I'm going to choose to make it. And if you can make things choice, it becomes a lot easier, and you stop the guilt attached to it. And when, we are talking a lot of health today, but there does have to be a lot of adherence as well. But you choose to.
Yeah, we've been chatting a lot about mindset, perspective, and reframing.
Yeah.
And again, this links into the work I'm doing on myself at the minute, as a lot of what we do as coaches does. Like what we're working on at the moment does tend to be what we then go, oh, let's talk about this with our clients, because it's really something we're passionate about, because we're reaping the benefits of it.
Well, I apologise to all my clients that are having to do ab work at the moment, because I'm doing more ab work.
And it isn't a one size fits all, but actually it's what's high on our agenda
Yeah.
at the minute. We're reaping the benefits from it, so we want to share it with them. And like, perspective is massive.
Yes.
Like the way that you think about something and the way that you feel about something. So I don't know, one of the big, well, I'm literally talking about my heartburn, but one of the biggest reasons I get heartburn is because I'm not technically stressed, but I'm stressed about my day. So if I then journal about that at the start of the day, my first thought is, how do you feel, Kate? Well, I feel really fucking anxious. I've got 12 calls in today. I've got check-ins to do. I've got clients to get back to. I've got 50 messages that I've just woken up to. And my first thought is, fucking hell.
Yeah.
And then I have to process that and have to think, well, hang on a minute. If anybody has seen my colour-coded diary, it is fully in control. And all of those tasks are going to be done. They are, because I'll get them done. But then, well, how do I reframe that? Reframe that, because I'm like, my business is thriving.
Yeah.
My clients are happy. They're all communicating with me. They're engaged. If they're all happy, they're engaged, I've got a successful business. If I've got a successful business, I'm actually happier. And why am I happier? Because I get to go and do nice things and go on nice holidays and go out for meals with my friends.
Exactly.
And that's how you've just flipped it on its head and reframed it to be in this absolutely stressful mammoth day, to actually know this day is going to be done and I'm going to reap the benefits.
It's something I talked, I've got a client who is in a fat loss phase, and she's got quite a bit ahead of her. It's fine. So I said, like, we're just going to break it down into small chunks. And what I need you to think about is, you have spent the last few years choosing to have whatever you want whenever you want it. So now is the time to choose to have what your body needs, not necessarily what you want, because you've spent a long time choosing that. And by using the word choose, you own that thing. It's not being told to. I can't have this, or I'm not allowed to have that. It's something I hate in a diet. Am I not allowed that? I'm like, no, you're an adult. You can choose to have whatever you want.
Yeah, you can have whatever you want.
Just choose it. But I'm hoping that by educating you, you're going to choose to have something that suits your goals. But then I do a lot of work with my clients around goal setting.
Yeah.
And what, real deep goal setting. So, okay.
Tell me more.
So what
Give me an example.
So, for example, if someone comes to me and says they want to lose weight, why? Why do you want to lose weight?
And then they say something, and then you're going to go, why?
Yeah, basically.
And then they're going to say something else, and then she's going to go, why?
Yeah, so you generally find a crux of the matter. Like, why do you really want to lose weight? Is it because someone else wants you to? Because you don't feel comfortable? Because you're lonely? Because you're unhappy? Why is that? Okay, but then what does losing weight look like to you? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it, like, paint me the picture of what your life looks like when you've lost weight. Because I guarantee it won't, because weight loss isn't everything. But if you can get someone to really break down their whys and their barriers, have you ever spoken to someone have you ever smoked?
No.
Do you know people that smoke?
Yes.
If you ever ask them, if they ever try to stop, especially people that are real habitual smokers, and they go, I'm trying to quit. They're not going to be, because they said the word trying. You either are going to quit or you're not. You're either going to do it or you're not. So you go, why are you trying to quit? Oh, because I get nagged at by my partner all the time. Well, you're not doing it for you then, so you won't do it.
It's not strong enough. Why?
It's not strong enough. Why? So if you can really drive down into the whys, what someone tells you first won't be their reason.
No, we do exactly the same with our clients. So obviously we have these sorts of conversations. These are like I'll be really open and honest, how a discovery call looks. Yeah. It is really, really drilling down to understand why you are motivated to make the change. And like you've just said, the first thing that you will say, I want to lose body weight because I'm going on holiday. Yeah. Okay, but why?
Your body weight doesn't matter when you're going on holiday.
Yeah,
do you take the scales with you?
Literally. But it's like that, like drilling it down, understanding. And then the next layer of that is, if that client comes on board, we then do the same as you. So I actually send them questions to answer. Yeah. And they have to put those questions into the app. So then when we have our first roadmap call, we can then draw on those answers and actually put them into the roadmap to help motivate and help inspire them. Yeah. And it's really, really powerful.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. Also, it will turn some people away because they're not ready. And that's absolutely fine, because not everyone is ready to make the change, or they're doing it because they think they should, not because they actually want to.
I literally had a call this week, and I got off the phone to the lady and I messaged one of my coaches and I said, I've just had a call and the lady's not ready. I know she's not.
Yeah, no.
I knew she wasn't. The lady in question was spending £350 on takeaways a month. And I was talking to her about it, and I was talking to her about the journey and the reason why. And I got off the call and I said, she's not ready.
No.
I know she's not ready.
And that's absolutely fine.
Exactly, literally.
It's
But when
absolutely
she is
fine.
ready, hopefully she'll remember where we are.
Absolutely.
And also, I don't actually want to coach somebody who's not ready.
No, I'm more than happy to train people that aren't weight loss, aren't transformation, aren't body recomposition.
Yeah.
Do you want to come to, I've got one client and she's got some health things, but she doesn't want to talk. She's not ready to talk weight. She's absolutely not ready to talk weight. And I'm fine with that, because we talk mental health, we talk the struggles that she's going through. And week by week, she opens up to something else, a little bit more. And we've just started breaching that subject of weight, but she needed to feel really secure and comfortable in that conversation first before she was ever going to go there. And I felt that I was equipped to take that time to do that with her. So, okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me what your goal is.
No, and I guess what I say is I'm not ready to coach somebody who, I don't want to coach somebody who's not ready. You need to be able to coach somebody who is coachable.
Absolutely.
You can't work with somebody who doesn't want to change, isn't prepared to listen, always makes excuses. Yes, you can understand and drill down to try and break down those barriers with that person and provide solutions to the problem. But if they are generally not ready to change, what's the point in us coaching them? You just wait until that moment when they are ready.
And they will go to another coach and they will pay the money and they will get given a meal plan and they'll get given a training plan and they will not do anything with it. And that's their choice. But coaching is different to being given a meal plan and a diet plan
100%.
and training plan. It's completely different. And the people that are ready to make changes will make the changes. And it's okay to be in a position that you're not ready yet. And I think that needs to get spoken about more. I talk a bit about the trifecta fallacy. Have you ever heard about this?
No, tell me.
So it's a theory that you can only ever concentrate on 2 out of 3 things at a time. So if you said you've got health or training or fitness or whatever you want to call that sector, relationships, so relationships with friends, family, children, things like that, and work. Because those are 3 big things in people's lives. So you've got like hobbies, family, work. You can't...
Hang on a minute, so I'm still trying to process my life.
So you can't accelerate all 3 at the same time. So when your business is going as good as it can, and you're trying to powerlift at the level you do at the same time, if you were right at the early stages of dating Dell at that time, you are going to struggle to do all 3.
Yeah.
Or you don't talk to your family as much, or your friends go, God, Katie's fallen off the face of the earth. Something like that, because you can't give all to all 3 at the same time.
No.
You can give some to all 3.
I'm a solid 70% in all. No, it's true. And it's funny actually, because the year I met Dale, well, I was still PTing.
Yeah.
And I said to him, we'd been together for 8 months. And I said to him at Christmas, I said, this year I'm going to move the business online.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't do it for 3 months, but I said it was going to happen. And it did happen. And Jesus Christ, I haven't stopped working since.
No. And he had to be with you, because otherwise you weren't going to be able to give everything to him and everything to the business.
No, and do you know what it has? It has affected our relationship, because, no, being totally honest, like, both of us and our working relationships, like, we do both have an issue with work-life balance. More so me, I'm not going to lie, but that does affect him. I have to be so aware of it. But he went self-employed this time last year. So, like, there'll be evenings where I've put the boundary in place and I'm like, right, that's it, we're not having our phones out. But then he'll be sat there invoicing, so then I get my phone back out. So I'm like, right,
Yeah.
I'll just reply to
Well, I
this.
will, yeah.
And then we end up miscommunicating. But equally, because he's in the really infancy stages of his business, he needs to focus on his thing, and I totally
Exactly.
respect that. But he gave me the space and time last year, but my business isn't in its infancy stages. It is 18 months old, but it isn't, but it is.
Yeah. It's established enough for you to put the boundaries in.
It
Whereas
is.
he's still a bit more...
He
Needs
isn't,
to be-
he isn't as stable as me. That's a fact.
And
Like,
that's the same for me and my other half. His business is a bit newer than mine. So he has to be a bit more flexible than I do. Especially in the PT side for my business.
Yeah.
It's like my clients are very regular. They know when they do. And I have boundaries. He has less boundaries because he has to be a bit more available because he's newer into the business.
yeah, absolutely.
And
Like,
that's
you have
fine.
to take a hit, don't you? Because ultimately, yes, we need to have job satisfaction. We need to enjoy what we do, but we are here to earn a living
Yeah.
to be able to do the things that we want to do.
Yeah, and so when you take that back to clients, you get some clients that are, if you're going for the promotion at work and you're trying for a baby, maybe now's not the time to start a new training plan. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. And that's okay. It might be the perfect time because you might be like, nope, I'm motivated on all counts right now. But at the same time, it might be, actually, do you know, you actually just got to take time for yourself right now.
Yeah,
And that's
for
fine.
sure.
And people need to know that the time isn't always when you want it to be, but there is a right time.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, sometimes if you are like, but this is why having like a roadmap or something is really, really critical, because then you can pinpoint these points on the roadmap and say like, right, I'm going to start, let's use the baby scenario. They've had the baby, they're going to be returning to work.
Yeah.
That is a hell of another building stage.
Yep.
It's another whole process that a new mum has to go through, because the whole of everything changes. She's trying to juggle being a mum. She's trying to juggle being a wife. She's trying to juggle starting the new job. And then she's got guilt on all three counts because
Yeah.
she doesn't feel like she's giving enough to anybody, but the only person suffering is her.
So let's not put you in a fat loss phase where it's not going to be successful and you're going to feel guilty about letting yourself down on that one.
Yeah.
Which you shouldn't ever feel, but people do.
Yeah.
But let's not do that. Let's give ourselves a bit of grace.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is next for you?
So,
Where
next
are you going on holiday?
Dubai. Yeah,
Is it your first time?
it is.
Are you excited?
Can't wait.
What do you have planned?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh my God, would you like some tips?
I mean, that's something we are definitely going to discuss at dinner tonight. But this is our first holiday in 2.5 years.
Ooh.
So, our plan is to get there, spend 24 hours doing absolutely nothing other than sitting around the pool, and then make a plan.
Nice.
From there, we've
love
got a few
that.
friends out there, so we're going to go and see them. We're going to train at a couple of the big gyms. We can do a few water sports. We've got a few things that we want to go and see. But other than that, we are taking it a little bit as it comes because we are hoping to come back a little bit refreshed.
Refreshed.
So that's our plan.
Would you like to live there?
No, probably not. Would you?
For tax purposes.
Oh, yeah, for
Am I
that.
allowed to say that?
Absolutely.
So, I don't want to live in the UK.
No, nor do I.
I think, and anybody who knows me knows that.
Where do you want to live?
I'd love to live in Thailand. I think that's pretty obvious, but the time difference doesn't work with what I do.
Yep.
So right now now the clocks have changed. It's 7 hours difference. And Derek has children.
So that makes
And
a
that's
difference.
that's really important. Like they're an important part of our lives, and that also impacts that plan.
Yep.
But which is why we travel so much, because I work so hard. When I do go away, I do actually have downtime.
Yep.
I do not connect to Wi-Fi. I don't get data. He has data, and I have work blocks that I do. So that's really, really important. That's why I do travel so much, because I need that downtime. Dubai, we're actually looking at going out in March again, because again, one of my really good friends lives out there. I absolutely loved it, but I also really love green countryside, and
Yeah.
that's where I love Thailand, because you get the green, the environment, but you also get like the sea, the sand, the weather. The people are insane. So in Dubai, the people are amazing, the service is incredible, but in Thailand, the people are insane. They smile all the time, but you don't have to pay them for it.
Yeah.
That's so true, because they're just doing it authentically. You're in Thailand, you'll get the most incredible service from a family-run restaurant. They're all wearing their football shirts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And also I found that with Dubai and some of the more like the malls and places, I just felt a little bit uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't dressed inappropriately, but because I'm quite tattooed, because I have pinky purple hair,
Yeah.
it was just a bit.
Stood out a little bit.
Yeah, I do stand out a little bit.
I don't think it's the place for us. We're looking forward to going there on holiday. I think it could be somewhere that we would enjoy holidaying.
Yeah.
And we have talked about it, but I don't think it would be for us. We talked about it just because we've got friends there that live there. We are planning potentially Canada next year.
Interesting.
That one appeals to us.
Yeah.
We quite fancy that.
Nice.
as a
Have you
place to
been?
I have, but only to sort of Niagara Falls area. But we're getting well into our ice hockey at the moment.
I did
So
see.
we want to go out there and play a game and
Okay, cool.
or watch a game. He might play, but yeah, no. Next year for us is going to be a bit more travel. We've established as our businesses enough.
You've
be able
done
to have a bit more
businesses
travel
though,
now.
and you've done house all in the same year, so that
Yeah.
was a big year.
Yeah, it was. So now a bit more travel next year. Keep pushing the online business more, and have a bit more fun in terms of training. So I'd quite like to vary my training a little bit. So I won't leave the gym. I will always gym. I don't think I'm going to go back to powerlifting yet. That's something that I probably will, but not yet.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to do a bit of swimming. I'm learning to ice skate. I kind of just want to be active, but in a less structured way.
Yeah, fab.
I feel like I've reached that point where I'll be at maintenance, reached that point of just trying to kind of refresh my love of sport and training.
Movement.
Movement, yeah. It's because I've been quite disciplined with it this year, and I'd like to go a bit more instinctive with it
Yeah.
next year. So that'll be fun. And yeah, just a lot of business stuff.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining me.
Thank
I hope
you
you
for
enjoyed
having
your
me.
first podcast experience.
Hope I didn't bumble too much, not too
No,
many
it was
ums.
absolutely epic. No, I think it was just a really nice chat.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's nice. I really enjoy it.
Me too. That was good.
Thank you for watching.